Pickaxe.
Hello and welcome to the podcast of this week's One Life Left radio show. I'm Simon Byron.
I am Steve Curran.
We're recording at an unusual time because of commitments to the cause of rock.
You're going to see the commitments, are you?
Going to see the commitments on Sunday evening in Milton Keynes Bowl. No, I'm going to see Muse, of course. Haven't seen them for over a year. It'll be good to catch up with the boys again. Mm-hmm. They're being supported by Royal Blood. Do you like rock music, Steve?
I mean, they're not... How do you think Muse feel about having them on their support right now?
Well, look, they came across as Burks, certainly, but, they are in front of an audience that does like rock music, so I think it's going to be fine.
But it's not okay to like them now, is it?
Is it not?
Maybe it's gone
back.
I
know that they're a figure of fun. I do like some of their music. I mean, Oblivion is an absolutely brilliant single, Steve, surely.
Okay,
no?
Well, good for you.
Well, so that's why we're recording now. And there's a lot of sort of admin that goes on in real time during this show. One of which, and I'm a bit annoyed about this, one of which I was going to deal with now because you'll hear us juggle with things happening during the show and things that we can't find during the show. And as I was looking for the letters, I had one of my 3 email addresses open, Steve. Yep, I'm a drug dealer.
Wow.
And I had an email which was an invoice for the advertising money that we make from the One Life Left podcast. And I was going to open it live on air and thank the listeners, but it's disappeared. Now, you believe that something else disappeared from our inboxes.
Yeah, also, the interruption we had during the letters section?
Yeah.
They've left me a voicemail.
Have they?
They have.
We'll look forward to finding out. Here it is. Let's see what our latest report is, Steve. So, one step closer to retirement. So for April 2023, Steve.
Yep.
And thank you to our lovely listeners.
I can do a drum roll if you want.
Well, I was just going to say thank them for, we recognise that some of you do sit through some interesting adverts, shall we say, that are fed to you by the algorithm. Well, in recognition of that...
So, thank you. Thank you for that. Shall I do a drum roll?
Go on. In April 23, we got £32.36 in advertising revenue. Thank you very much, listeners.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
We don't do it for the money, and that's proof why we don't. Very good. Right, we're in the middle of the working day. I'm skipping lunch for this, Steve, so we better crack on, hadn't we?
Same. Thank you for the show, Simon. It's super fun.
Yep, thanks for listening. Thanks for the £32. Here's the show.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to One Life Left on Resonance 104.4 FM. We are a video game radio show, and my name is Steve Curran.
Hello, I am Simon Byron.
Simon, how are you today?
Well, very well, Steve. We've said good evening, but it's good afternoon when we record, isn't it? We're recording the show during Friday lunchtime. So some of the news will be even more out of date than usual. But have you seen the news that's just broken, Steve, as we've gone live?
No, absolutely not.
Keir Starmer who's the, for those unfamiliar with UK politics, he's the leader of the Labour Party, the opposition. Headline is in The Guardian. Keir Starmer was caught as a student illegally selling ice creams on French Riviera. Can you imagine that? Caught selling ice creams illegally. Who had that in their slur book? The story goes on that it says that the former director of public prosecutions and the man labelled Mr. Rules. Mr. Rules, what a cool nickname, Mr. Rules. Can you imagine, what would your nickname be?
What do you want to be? Mr. Rules, please.
Exactly.
I just like the rules.
He sounds like fun. I wonder if he's happy with that.
Well, that's
I'm not a little bit of breaking news. I'm not Mr. Rules. I'm sat in the dark as the sun passes over the shed. As it transitions between morning and afternoon, I need to draw the curtains on the sunny days because it just starts heating up in here. So I'm sat in the dark in a shed with the curtains closed in a shed at the bottom of my garden. What do you think the neighbours think I'm up to? Mr. Rules.
Mr. Rules. Top secret deals, I'm sure, Simon. They know you are a high-powered games industry exec. I usually have the windows that you can see behind me open when I'm doing my game design business in here. But the other day, I can't have them open right now, Simon, because then the listeners would be able to hear the rich sounds of South London on air, and or our under caretaker Phil would have to edit them out of the show if they are the sounds that sometimes I hear. Anyway, I was informed by my partner that she can hear me talking when I'm doing business in here from the end of the road.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because the shed, so our garden backs onto some playing fields, and occasionally while I'm doing calls, I can hear people just on the other side of the garden walking their dogs. And I usually reference that to people I'm in a meeting with, and I pretend that it's Debbie Bestwick from Team 17 trying to get my secrets. Who would be outside your property? Who are your peers?
I don't know, Simon. Don't know. Other star game designers, I suppose. Hey, I gave my new game to my 4-year-old daughter this morning. And
that's a coming of age in your tradition.
Well, she played the first 5 levels and was able to complete them.
Excellent.
Yeah, so
congratulations.
That was a good, exciting sign. I think I'll be able to talk about that soon, as well as the other project that I'm working on, which I think is going to be announced in the next couple of weeks. So,
are you on One Life Left?
Well, maybe that'll fill in some time on One Life Left, Britain's longest-running video game radio show. Are we the only video game radio show at the moment?
At the moment, yeah. Certainly as we record on a Friday lunchtime.
It feels like only yesterday we last spoke. It's been how long? Been 5 days since the last One Life Left. Do you know how I've spent most of those days, Simon?
I dread to think, Steve.
I spent most of those days right here on this couch, sick, ill.
Oh, no. Who did you get that from, or what was it?
I believe I caught it from my 4-year-old, who was ill, a week and a half ago, and she woke me up in the middle of the night. She was like, "Daddy, I've got a sore throat," and I was like, "Well, get used to it. That's life, my friend." A few days later, she ended up getting an ear infection on antibiotics. Those fixed her immediately, and then I came home from the cricket last Sunday, felt a bit achy, did the radio show with you. And then that night, Simon got a very, very sore throat, which proceeded to get worse over the next few days, and got a fever as well. Finally managed to get an appointment yesterday to see someone, and it turns out, by then I was getting a little bit better. It turns out I had flu, actual flu, not just a cold, genuine confirmed case of flu. The last couple of days I was unable to speak at all, which would have made doing the radio show very, very difficult. Thankfully, my voice has pretty much returned today.
Well, but it would have made walking around your neighbourhood more pleasant for the occupants of South London.
It would. Yeah, of course, it does mean that people who want to hear the radio show before it gets broadcast, they can gather outside my residence. Hear at least
an eye out.
50% of it.
Keep an eye out for Guy Cocker.
On a Sunday night. It's not Sunday now, it's Friday. My voice is back to normal. I have not done any of the things I promised to. I haven't played a video game.
What?
Well, I've not been able to.
Perfect.
Ill.
Perfect time to be playing video games when you're ill. When I had COVID the first time, I played an awful lot of Final Fantasy VII Remastered.
You'd already played that. That's the kind of mindless thing you can do when you're ill.
No, this was first COVID. First time I got it was when Final Fantasy Remastered was out. I was hoping for a 2-week isolation period. I think I got a couple of days before everybody else in their household got it. But yeah,
You've played that game
back
before,
on that.
That's what I mean. Like, you played that game, you didn't have to concentrate. You knew what it was going to be like. It was just, revisiting an old friend who would subsequently, spoiler warning, die.
Well, I remember very little about last week as opposed to when I played Final Fantasy VII originally.
Okay.
It was on 4 discs, I remember that.
Fair enough. All right, well, what I mean to say is, Simon, I've very little to talk about, but we will find stuff to talk about as we always do. You've provided 5 news stories.
Indeed, I have. Well, the games industry has provided 5 news stories for us to discuss. They've been analysed thoroughly by Charles Bott 1.0.
And they're going to happen right now.
Video game news with me, Charles Bott 1.0. Today, Nintendo held a special direct showcasing their upcoming slate of titles coming to the Switch for the rest of 2023. Headliners included Pikmin 4, Super Mario RPG Remake, Sonic Superstars, Palia, Persona 5, Tactica, Myth Force, Splatfest, Detective Pikachu Returns, Super Mario RPG, Princess Peach Side-Scroller, Luigi's Mansion 2 Remake, Batman, Arkham Trilogy, Gloomhaven, Just Dance 2024, Silent Hope, Fae Farm, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, Manic Mechanics, Mario plus Rabbids DLC, Dragon Quest Monsters, The Dark Prince, Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Vol 1, Vampire Survivors, Headbangers Rhythm Royale, Penny's Big Breakaway, Mario Kart 8, Deluxe Courses, Star Ocean, The Second Story R, WarioWare, Move It, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. We offered to show Broken Sword 6, but unfortunately Nintendo did not answer the phone.
Oh, that was a long list, Simon.
Well, isn't it interesting in that everybody gets very excited about these things, but just proves, doesn't it? A lot of it's got to do with the production, because if they just got old Charles Bott on to announce everything, people would be drifting off, wouldn't they? Well, where's Broken Sword 6?
So I did see this news during the week, during one of my moments, feverish moments. I saw it via 2 things. One, someone posting a picture of Mario as an elephant and saying, "What should we call this?" And I thought, is this a Photoshop, or have Nintendo just announced a new Mario game? I also saw someone praising the innovation, going, Nintendo, what will they think of next? There's always something. And I was like, Mario's an elephant. I mean, there's lots of other things Mario could be.
Well, what will they think of next? Well, what they'll think of is they're going to remaster and reissue loads of old games, aren't they? There's Mario RPG is coming to Switch. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon from the 3DS is coming to Switch, so that's good news.
And 2 Pikmins.
2 Pikmi.
2 Pikmopides. That's interesting, though. I think that's potentially a negative story rather than a positive, partially because I don't really like Pikmin that much.
No, I don't either.
But secondly, because you've seen all these rumours that the next thing on the Nintendo Virtual Console list is the GameCube, right? But if they are going to sell GameCube remasters like that, then that's pretty much clearly not their plan. Secondly, and this was the other thing. This is the other way I found out about this Nintendo Direct, was I fell for some clickbait, which was a headline I saw.
Men in your area are hooking up with women from North London, are they?
So that thing when you accidentally swipe your phone the wrong way and you end up on the clickbaity headline page.
No,
do you not have that on yours?
Nah.
Okay, well,
I do. I just blame. I don't make any mistakes with my phone stick.
Okay.
I take responsibility for what's on it, as opposed to what you're about to say.
So yeah, you end up with all those Google-mandated clickbaity headlines, one of which was Nintendo just stealth dropped 2 GameCube games for the Switch, and I was so excited because I've heard all of these rumours about F-Zero GX coming to the Switch, and I was like, it's got to be, and I clicked through like an idiot, and it was like, all right, lads, it's Pikmin 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's not a case of me sort of disliking Pikmin. Just to clarify, I've never really got it.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, Jason Perkins from Super Red Games, it's his favourite game, and for one of his landmark birthdays, he got a Pikmin tattoo.
Wow.
I know. Yeah, so there was some news. New 2D Mario with Elephant Mario, Vampire Survivors, best British game. Batman trilogy. People are impressed with that. That apparently they've got Arkham Knight running natively on the old Switch. So if you've not played those games, just play the first one. Really, that would be my advice. But in other trilogies, Metal Gear Solid will be coming out soon. Now, it's not just on Switch; it'll be coming out on PC and other consoles as well. So that's very exciting. But usually I watch these things with genuine excitement. It just made my heart sink. I'm trying to release 2 games towards the end of this year, and Mario is going to cause me some problems. As will Metal Gear Solid. Those dates are quite close to what I was intending to do some stuff on, so we shall see.
But that's the problem, isn't it? We're getting to a point where there is a big game, in air quotes, coming out every week, and then and
there'll be a couple more big games coming.
Of course,
when I decide when they're coming out.
Yeah. You're in control of your own destiny, Simon.
I don't want to publish them. It's too busy. No, I think we're going to launch one on October the 12th and one on October the 26th. That's what we're going for.
Right,
busy month, October. Maybe. Well, exactly. Maybe Nintendo will move their dates.
Oh, News Story 2 isn't firing, so I'll have to re-upload that while News Story 3 goes.
Sony Interactive Entertainment, SIE, has expressed their concern to the FTC over their worries of withholding details to Activision if Microsoft acquires them. Jim Ryan, SIE boss, has testified that they wouldn't want their competition to have access to this information. Microsoft and the FTC will face off in court today, with both companies witnessing CEOs Satya Nadella, Phil Spencer, Bobby Kotick and Pete Hines. My video game secret is Microsoft has secretly been developing a PlayStation exclusive title, but no one must tell Sony. It'll be a nice surprise if they don't know.
Did ChatGPT write that?
Yeah, I said, can you make up a video game secret?
That's really good. That's excellent. I've got to do some AI work next week, so I'm going to update CharlesBot to 1.1. I think.
Okay.
Now, I found out this week, doing some prep for next week's AI work, that I don't know if I can access this with the API yet, but ChatGPT can now look at the web. Have you seen that?
Funnily enough, Steve, this week was the first time I turned to ChatGPT for my work.
Really?
Well, yeah, it's been AI week on Radio 5 this week, and they've been talking all about the opportunities and the threats and the terror that the machines are going to come and get us, all posed by artificial intelligence. And I was thinking about the final session at the Develop Conference this year, which will be me and Jonathan Smith. We're doing, as usual, game shows based on video games themed. We're framing it as a take a look at what the New York Times will rip off next. And one of my rounds is the Countdown Conundrum. And so I was like, okay, so I need to find video games with 9 letters in them. So I opened up Wikipedia and I just listed video games. I was scrolling through them. I was like, and I was like, okay, cool. That looks about 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, that's 10. Okay. Scroll down. And then I thought, what am I doing? Come on, wake up and smell the, whatever year
Simon.
this is.
No. Because the one thing I know about ChatGPT is it can't count.
It can't count. So it comes back. So I go, please, can you give me a list of video game with 9 letters in the title? And it goes, yes, I can.
Confidently.
And like the first 4, absolutely bang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Off you go. You go, oh, this is cool. This is really easy. And then I think it must be suspecting you're not really going to read the whole answer. Because they just go completely random. Why can't it count?
It can't count because it's not really doing any of these things. It's predictive text, right? And it just basically picks something that sounds right, that feels right to it. That's a layman's explanation of it because I don't really know.
Right. I mean, can't they fix that? I mean, I think even I could write a routine that could count some letters in a string stroke variable.
So, you can, and that's how I've avoided the problem, is I hand off anything mathematical to a script that I'll have written and then hand it back to ChatGPT for the sort of low-level creative work. What you would do in that situation is, you would get it to return a list of what it thinks, and then you just write a simple script to filter by number of characters, and then it would output only a list of 9 letters. Or the other trick, the sort of prompt engineering trick, Simon, is that if you ask it to work through it step by step, I think that's the sort of phrasing you need. It tends to give slightly more accurate answers to mathematics.
Okay. Well, with all that additional information, what did you think? His joke. So, yes, this is the story. They are back at it, going into more detail about the proposed acquisition. And, Sony have said, well, if Microsoft own Activision, then we're not going to tell you, then we're not going to tell them about the PlayStation 6. Some other stuff that came out this morning was that some papers or some correspondence has unearthed the fact that Starfield was originally going to be a cross-platform game, and that that it was going to be coming out on PlayStation. And now that Bethesda are part of Microsoft, it isn't, and there's some excellent spinning on why that is, because Bethesda have said that actually it's good that it's not coming out on PlayStation, and it's beneficial because if you launch on fewer platforms, it doesn't take you as long to write those games. Here's a tip for you, Bethesda: if you want to get games out like really quickly, don't make them at all. Don't do them for any platforms. Don't do it. Be really quick then.
I saw a statement or a report somewhere from Phil Spencer saying again that they've lost the console war.
Yes.
Yeah, we've lost. So what harm can we do?
We just have this little bit.
Yeah, just this thing. It'll be fine. Well, I'm hoping very soon that we'll reach a resolution. But for now, it is a One Life Left news mainstay.
Fans of Nintendo have been debating whether Charles Martinet, the original voice actor of Mario, has been replaced in the newly announced games Super Mario Bros. Wonder and WarioWare Move It. After closely examining phrases uttered by Mario, many players are wondering if the same voice actor is behind the iconic character, leading to the hashtag Charles Martinet trending on Twitter. It is not yet clear if a new voice actor has taken on the role, however. Factors like the reusing of voice lines from older Mario games as well as the recent Super Mario Bros. Movie may have had an influence. Nintendo is yet to comment on the situation. Mamma mia, doing Mario impressions was easy. I could do that job easily.
Well, you could, couldn't you? I wonder if we could feed in enough Mario audio into the CharlesBot engine and get Mario to read the news.
Yeah. Do you remember what happened when we once invented video game karaoke, had a very, very playful name, and then were concerned about...
We weren't concerned, Simon. We were approached. It's what happened.
Well, you know.
And that led to some concern.
Exactly. Yeah. So, this was the speculation that that caused genuine... sick feeling in my stomach this week when I saw Charles Martinet was trending.
Oh, because
I thought. Yeah. So anyway, I was pleased to see the source of this.
I wonder how pleased you and everyone else will be when Nintendo issue a statement and say, "Yes, we've replaced Charles Martinet with AI."
Oh, CharlesBot. Well, it could be CharlesBot, couldn't it? Or it'll be Chris Pratt.
Oh my goodness! No one wants to see that. No one wants to see that. Do you think? This has happened? Do you think they've?
No.
He
was. Whilst he wasn't in the Mario movie as a main character, wasn't it? He's credited on it, isn't he? I think. I don't know. I don't see Nintendo dropping him.
No, he's such a Nintendo loyalist, isn't he? As well, in that he's good. Unpaid PR for them. He will rock up to whatever conference and do the voice all day long and do it with so much joy as well that I don't see what benefit they'd get from moving on.
Can you imagine him going off the rails? Sat outside a video games expo, drinking from a bottle and shouting at cars.
Do you know what?
It used to be a me.
We don't have to imagine that, Simon, using ChatGPT and our bot capabilities. We don't have to imagine, but again, we won't do that because of concerns.
If they don't know where they are, can they approach us?
That's true. Although I did just say in South London, they'll probably be outside my house, but I've got the windows shut, so who knows?
Jeff Kiley, the producer and host of Summer Game Fest, has responded to criticism around the lack of representation of women in the highly anticipated event as a result of scheduling conflicts. In an interview, he said there was a fair flag raised, but they strive to be authentic to the creators and designers of the video games featured in the show. Recent research from Circana showed that women account for 47-54% of all console, PC and mobile gamers, respectively. Even though there was a shortage of female representation in the show, it included announcements such as Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, Sonic Superstars, the first Alan Wake 2 and Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay, and more. 10 reasons why women wouldn't want to appear in Summer Game Fest. 1. Scheduling conflicts. 2. Stigmatization of female gamers. 3. Lack of representation in events of this nature. 4. Few women at high levels with development companies. 5.
That's a good point about it counting, because it does stop. It just stops at 5.
Stops.
5. Oh, that's 10. 5, that's 10.
Yeah. I saw this.
Well, I was going to say, I loved John Walker's headline on Kotaku, which was, there would have been a woman at Summer Game Fest, but she couldn't make it. Absolutely extraordinary.
Yes. I liked CharlesBot's renaming of Keeley to Kylie, though.
Yeah, there we go.
So that official. Could be his name from now on, christened on One Life Left, Jeff Kiley. It's terrible, isn't it? Absolutely appalling. And awful that they seem to have been completely blindsided by it as well. Like, oh yeah, we did forget that it's not just us making games.
And thinking that was in some way some justification is that they did think of one. Yeah,
and we asked her, but she couldn't make it, and so that was best we could do. I'm sure you'll understand. How do you think they'll address this next year? Because Kylie's got to do something, hasn't he?
He is going to have to, yeah. Well, let's hope that the production team think about how they are viewed more carefully rather than looking at the bank balance. So, yes. I mean, Yeah, so his quote was, I think generally we do a pretty good job with diversity in our shows. That was something that's a fair flag. We also want to be authentic to the games that are being presented on the show and the developers that are making them. So yeah, I think we're conscious of it.
Who picks the games that are being featured on the show?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's either you or it's the companies who are giving you the most money, and maybe there's a problem there. So, your fate is in your hands, Kylie.
Yes, and as John Walker says, which I won't repeat verbatim because we're being broadcast before the watershed, but he says, I think the words that Mr. Kiley was looking for were, God, we really effed up, didn't we? That was embarrassing. I promise I'll never let that happen again.
It looks like the future of E3 is uncertain as the Los Angeles City Tourism Board reported they have cancelled 2 years of E3 events for 2024 and 2025. The ESA has said no final decisions have been made, yet there is competition from other smaller events, which could mean all hopes of E3 making a return in the near future are slowly diminishing. Personally, I'm hoping we still get a E3, as it's a great excuse for me to party with the girls in LA whilst my wife thinks I'm working.
I love the way you said that.
He went very LA, didn't he? I didn't ask him to.
Party with the girls in LA.
I mean, yeah. That's just how he rolls, isn't it? We've all seen Charles Bott in the limos on Sunset, partying with the girls in LA.
Oh, wow. E3 is doomed because of Kylie, basically. That's not a sentence I ever thought I'd say. It doesn't seem like it's going to make a return in the short term, and this just confirms that.
Well, it does confirm that, despite the fact that the ESA has updated the stories and responded to them by saying, no, actually, no final decisions have been made, actually, which, means that it won't be happening.
Yeah. What would you do if you were them? Like, how do you fight against the behemoth that is Kylie at this point? How do you create another E4? How do you make E4?
Well, it's obvious that the industry likes these big moments, and just even this like a loose group of concentrated announcements, seem to drive the news agenda for weeks. Lots of people are looking at the games industry, and lots more people seem to be reporting on them. People drifted away from E3 because it ultimately stop serving the purpose for which it was invented, which was to get shop buyers in one place that publishers and developers could present to them games that were coming out for Christmas, and that they could then order them in time to be on the shelves for the festive period. And the industry's clearly changed a lot since then. There is still some of that, but we're mostly digital. And so the idea of trying to, it was always about a very few select buyers, really, that you were trying to influence. GameStop, Game, HMV, Virgin, etc. And, a lot of what you would spend on the stands and the production was designed simply to create an image that you were big and important and get these people to order these discs or these cartridges. That's moved on. And I think that the ESA didn't really move with the times and failed to, didn't know what it was. Was it a trade show? Then it was going to bring consumers in. Was it media? Was it influencers? Nobody knew, but the costs went up, and people really did begin to question its worth. Now, Jeff came in over COVID when they were cancelled and offered a solution, which was this big glitzy broadcast package, which is a mix of effectively sponsored slots, although that's not obvious, and there are sort of editorial slots in there as well, which are pretty difficult to get into, as you'd imagine. But it presented these announcements and this promotion in a way that seemed sort of pretty palatable. The irony now, of course, is that the digital event is now moving into physical, and whilst it was much smaller than E3 and therefore much cheaper, you have to wonder whether it's about to sort of set down the same route that E3 went down, where it becomes more, then people start to question, why are they there? I mean, I think it seemed to work quite well at the moment, all jokes to one side, because they did the announcements, and then then you had loads of press out there that were able to interview the developers, and you still see, even a couple of weeks after it, you're still seeing new news pieces and editorial pieces come out from what happened on site during Summer Game Fest. So that's pretty good. But yeah, whether that's now a constant, it depends on their ambition and potentially their greed, I would say.
So I was expecting pick another month, pick another city, and invite loads of people there. But your answer is much better. So, well done. I hated E3 while it existed. I do not like the new world either. I'd love an excuse to go somewhere else, and I would love some of the excitement of seeing new things as well. But like you say, I don't know if there is the hunger or climate for it right now. These things are cyclical, so we'll see where the games industry is post Kylie. That's all the news.
That's all the news, Steve.
One Life Left video game news with
me, Charles But 1.0.
You're listening to Resonance 104.4 FM, and we are One Life Left. We're a video game radio show. That means we talk about video games, mostly. It's just past the half hour, which means we've still got the news. No, not the news. That's the one thing we've done. We've still got the letters to do. We've still got the reviews to do. Well, that might be particularly short because I have nothing to report this week. And we have any other business in case we have other business to deal with. If you want to know more about One Life Left, you can find out that by going to hello.onelifeleft.com. There'll be some links for you to click on, including one to our Discord. Our Discord is where the listeners of One Life Left hang out and chat about the show and other things, including ambiguously gaming chat, which involves the crosswords that I do every week and that kind of thing. The show is edited by our producer, Phil. He writes the show notes, and you may find those helpful. You can find those at www.onelifeleft.com, where you can also find the podcast, because we are also a podcast, but we're not just a podcast, we're a radio show as well.
Well done, Steve. I think that's a comprehensive overview for new listeners.
I sort of did it in the wrong order, which was quite exciting. Started in the wrong place, but yeah, very, very exciting. It's nice to do a show with you in the afternoon, Simon.
We have caught everybody else out unawares, though, because they've not got their letters in. That's what I was just rumbling through at the moment.
I saw one.
Did you? Because I've just opened up my Gmail One Life Left filter. There's an awful lot of junk in there, I tell you.
Didn't we get some funny... Wait, let me start the letters theme, so we can be at least in the right section.
email, messages, and forward BCC. One Life letters.
Didn't we get some funny junk this week? There was definitely something I was looking forward to you reading out on the show.
Was it the offer of sponsorship?
That's the one. From Sebastian Reed.
There he goes. Are you going to name it? Because I feel that if we talk about about what Sebastian Reed wants to sponsor us with, we've sort of lost our advantage, haven't we?
Let's try and read it without. Hi there, I'm Sebastian from this company. We love your podcast, One Life Left. I like the way he's said One Life Left there to, because you can't question that unless his mail merge system had failed. Yeah. And we're excited about the possibility of sponsoring one or more of your episodes. Just a quick intro on the thing. Our thing boosts and thanks to its unique and if you're interested, I'd be happy to give you more details on what we had in mind. Warm regards. Oh, this doesn't happen very often.
You get a phone call. Just stick them on. Ask
Spam caller. Hold on, I'll answer it.
It'll be Sebastian.
Hello? Hello there.
Hi, this is Cheerio. Calling you from 3 Network. How are you doing today?
This is for me. You're calling from 3 Network, are you? I'm doing fine, thanks. How are you? Okay, you're good too. This is a free promotional thing. Okay. I have to tell you right now, probably for legal reasons I have to tell you, you are live on the radio. This is a radio broadcast you've called. Is there anything you want to say? You're live on the yes, you are live on the radio right now. You're talking to all of London. Is there anything you'd like to say to London? You don't know. Okay. Shall I let you get on with your day job then? Okay. Have a good day. Maybe don't spam people anyway. I don't believe you are from where you are from. And it's probably, I don't know. Morally, it doesn't feel great. But I hope you're okay, and I hope you're having a nice time. Anyway, goodbye. Okay.
What do you think? What do you think he's now filling in the notes field?
I know. He seemed very much like he was thumbing fast through a script, trying to find an answer to that, and there was nothing to say. Anyway,
this is the sort of promotion that Sebastian could only dream of, eh?
Yeah. Imagine, Sebastian. So yeah, if you're truly in love with One Life Left, Sebastian, let us know. Let's know some more details about that. We did have a proper letter as well this week. Have you found it? It's in the Discord somewhere.
I've not found it.
Oh, do you want me to do it? I've got
yes, please.
Got it in front of me. Right. Oh wait, it's disappeared. Hold on. The spam caller's calling back. Hold on. Hello. Hello. You're still live on the radio.
Yeah, I'm on a radio.
You're on a radio show right now. Yes.
Yeah, I'm give a message to the whole London.
Yes.
Can I give message?
A message to the whole of London. Yes, you can give a message.
This person is on the live in radio.
This is live on radio right now. Yes.
Okay. I will say I will fuck whole London.
Okay.
Hello.
I'm ready. Hello.
Yeah, hi, sir.
This isn't great radio. Okay, go on.
Yeah, that's good. So what's your good name, sir? How old is it?
Okay, I'm afraid this isn't clear enough. I've got to let you go. But thank you very much for calling. It's great to hear from you. Have a good day.
Crikey, there was some jeopardy there, wasn't there?
I've never had a spam caller call me back.
I wonder what your details are now being copied and pasted onto a different spreadsheet. You're going to get a different level of interaction.
This is the number you want to call. If you want to call the whole of London, this is the number you... Yeah, maybe this wasn't the best idea. We'll see what happens. They're literally calling back again. I'm turning off my phone. Yes, we did have a letter this week, but it's disappeared off the Discord. Unless it was
been censored, has it?
Maybe it's in the chat or in the ambiguous gaming, or no, it's gone. It's gone.
I did speak. I was doing a call with a developer this week, and I hadn't spoken to him before. He's doing an amazing game. His name's Mike, and he's like, "Oh yeah, hello, I'm Sam." He said, "Oh yeah, no." He said, "I was listening to your radio show. I was listening to your thoughts on Zelda, and I thought, oops,
here we go.
If I'm potentially, hoping to work with Mike down the line, like, does he think I'm wrong?" And he said, "I agree with everything you said."
Oh,
you'll be hearing more about Mike's game over the coming months.
Really,
it's very good. Very good.
Was it Biffle?
He doesn't listen to us anymore, does he?
I don't know.
You say what you want about Biffle.
Can you? He's a really
what I want
nice
to say is how dashing he is. I think I said it after I bumped into him at WASD and at GDC. And I'd forgotten how dashing he is. But then
I think last time I bumped into him, he said he wanted to come back on the show. He did say that, because we talked about what he was going to talk about and what he couldn't talk about because of Disney being restrictive about that sort of stuff. But yeah, he'd love to come back on the show. That mic, okay. Maybe we can have a mic off, because you've got. Sounds like you've got a new favourite mic now.
Let's line them up.
All right. So that's all the letters and spam callers, apparently. If you have a letter you want to send to One Life Left, you can do so by emailing
team@onelifeleft, or if you want to get hold of Steve directly, he is 078 33 22 44 66.
Other numbers are available. So it is the Develop Conference very soon. I will not be attending. You will be speaking, Simon, and we've talked about that already. But we can now announce as well that we are definitely doing Maraoke on the Tuesday night. We announced that last episode. But tickets are on sale, or at least they are on sale currently at the time of writing, before I've actually published the link. There are only 16 left. So
wow.
It will be a sellout. Now, if you have not got a ticket for Maraoke, but you are in Brighton on the night, don't worry, there will be tickets on the door as well, we suspect. We're going to let ticket holders in. We're going to do what we call GDC rules. We're going to let ticket holders in before 9 o'clock. And then after 9 o'clock, any spaces that haven't been taken, you can rock up and buy a ticket for the remainder, the couple of hours that are left of Maraoke. Really, really, really excited about that. Now, as well as that, Simon, I think I'm going to do my conference.
Okay. Your mic conference.
Yeah.
Just mics.
Just mics, all mics. So I go to a lot of conferences, and what I find is, at their best, conferences are a joyful meeting of minds. You learn a lot from people. You get a chance to meet a lot of interesting people as well. There are conferences I love that I attend all the time. For example, Reboots in Croatia or in Banff. I love plenty of other conferences as well. But I also find that the worst conferences can be a bit like going on LinkedIn, in that what you are just seeing are thinly veiled adverts for people's companies, written as if they are not. The number of people who just post pictures of their kids on LinkedIn at the moment and say, when I was watching my child take their first bike ride the other night, I couldn't help but think about games as a service or something.
Well, that's the wrong way of going about it. On LinkedIn, surely you post a picture of your kids and you go, I made this. Let me tell you exactly how I did it.
So yeah, I don't like that content very much. So I thought that I might try my hand at running a conference on my own. And I'm not actually going to do this properly. But what I am going to invite is friends to a spot on the beach, probably near the ruined pier, on Tuesday afternoon. And what we're going to talk about is about our failures. Because I figured if no one showed up, I could definitely talk about that for a clear 2 hours.
Very good.
On my own.
Very good.
I'm going to call it F-Up Con, although probably styled in a way that we can't say on the radio. And yeah, just going to sit down in a relaxed manner, because I think there's a lot to learn from other people's failures. And I don't mean in a sort of Gama Sutra post-mortem way. Sorry, GameDeveloper.com post-mortem way. That would have been an F-up, calling that site that. I don't mean in a here's everything that went wrong with my game and here's how we can learn from it and do better in the future, but in a kind of just shrugging and recognizing that we are not always our LinkedIn selves all the time. And actually, I think a lot of us spend a great proportion of our lives feeling like we are screwing up all the time, and just to have other people vocalizing that and saying, yeah, I am a mess and I still get by and life is okay, might be quite a nice thing. And if not, just be a time to spend on the beach with some good people. So if you want to be involved in that, reach out to me. I'll probably make a little flyer for it and we'll hang out on the beach. Probably, I reckon, 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. on the Tuesday. F-Up-Con.
Sounds good. What would your contribution be then, Steve?
Well, I'm not going to tell you because you've got to be at the conference. I think we'll do those sort of rules, which is anything you say at the conference can't be repeated, or maybe anything you say at the conference can be repeated but not attributed.
Do you have an example in mind?
Of a thing that I have effed up? Yep. I have 2 hours worth. Just, I've several things that I'm gonna that I would like to talk about. Some of which I've talked about before. I think the easy classic one would be the thing that I've certainly talked about on the radio show before. The Edge giving Grand Theft Auto 6 out of 10 story. Was that your fault? I think ultimately the buck stopped with me, didn't it? As reviews editor, you would say there was a number of things that went wrong, and I think that's often the truth with most F-ups, isn't it? That there are various places you can place the blame, like things that if they had gone right meant your bit wouldn't have gone wrong. But ultimately, yeah, I think that was my fault. But there's also something I want to talk about. That actually kind of climaxed at Brighton last year that I'd like to talk about that I've never talked about before as well. So, yeah, and hopefully there's been a lot of other quite prominent games industry people who've said they would like to do something similar. So maybe we'll have a few stories from some other people as well.
Nice.
Good. Any other business from you, Simon?
No, I will be down in develop. I'm trying not to get booked in for too many meetings because I realised at GDC I was just back to back for the whole time I was there, which meant I didn't get actually to sort of. I had very little time. I think I had an hour around the expo at GDC. I really do like that. I really do like the expo. I go tat collecting for my son, and I go and see some new stuff. I didn't realise that the glasses that I was forced to tweet about in order to get a goodie bag I could hand off to my son had to change their name recently because, Tim Sweeney is sort of famously anti-competition and all of this sort of stuff, isn't he? Anti-monopoly. But it turns out if you want to call your glasses that you wear that have got LCD screens in them in order to project the equivalent of a 200-inch screen in front of your eyes while you're on a plane or on a train or on the toilet or lying on your bed, it turns out he doesn't want them called Nreal glasses because it's too close to Unreal, so they've changed their name now.
Right, I see.
So the money that they spent producing the goodie bags of tat that I, abused my followers with was all in vain, although I've just corrected it. So,
well,
there we go. But yes, I'll be down there looking around. A listener reached out and said, can we meet up? And I was like, yeah, let's just work that out when we're down there. Try not to book too many things in.
I had a reach out from someone at Unity today inviting me to their pre-develop event on the Monday. Have you been invited to that, Simon?
I've not.
Well,
no.
Maybe we should both go because one of the things they're offering is Unity swag.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, so
I'll be there. Yeah, and if you want to see what that swag is, follow me on Twitter at ByronicMan, because if I'm encouraged to make a social post about it in order to get some free stuff to give my son, I will.
Perfect. Right, are you ready for the review section?
Yeah.
This is it, and you're going to have to carry it.
Well, I will do my very best to do so. Were you ever a freelancer that was paid by the word, Steve?
Yeah, all the time. It was, what was it? It was 15 p at best, sort of down to 10p for. I think maybe Edge
for short words.
Maybe Edge was 15p, and maybe I'm going to say PC Gamer was 10p, and then Kieran Gillen's going to write an angry letter and say it was not worse than Edge.
Well, we always used to joke back in magazines when you could see that something was contributed by a freelancer, because there'd be an awful lot of preamble waffle before you got to the point. And we just sort of... And back in my day, Steve, it was 10p a word, and we'd just go, 10p a word. And somebody had 3 or 4 paragraphs before they eventually got to the point. There were whispered stories about how much some people were earning for their headline columns. Dominic Diamond, we believe, during his heyday, used to get £1 a word.
£1 a word?
If that was the case, Steve, imagine how much this intro to the review section would have just earned me. And the other thing, of course, is that you can tell when somebody's freelancing because they do not abbreviate don't. Oh, so they do... Yes, they do not abbreviate do not. Because, that's £2 rather than the 1. You're doubling your money.
You wouldn't use any extraneous hyphens either, would you?
Absolutely not.
Ha 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 ha.
Indeed. So that was a little... I don't know whether people are still paid by the word, but I guess the equivalent of that would be filling for your one review on a radio show where there's still sort of 5 minutes to go. As you know, I've been enjoying a new piece of hardware in the ROG Ally handheld PC, and I've had the opportunity this week to road test it properly because I was down in Bristol yesterday. I got the train down in the morning where I was working, and I got the train up 5:30 train, Steve. That's after hours, isn't it? So
absolutely.
I could kick back, relax, and do some shooting in Far Cry 6. I could do that eventually after I'd got the thing to load when it was offline. It did take a long time, but it did do eventually, and played very happily. So, yes, I have gone back to Far Cry 6. It's now available on Steam. Turns out I didn't need to buy it on Steam because I've now got a handheld that isn't tied to that ecosystem.
I've got a question that I've genuinely been curious about for a long time.
Yes.
Is there any difference between any of the Far Cries?
There is, yes, because this one's got the man from Breaking Bad in it.
Okay. That's not really what I mean, though.
You get new weapons on your back that when you hold down the left and right shoulder buttons, they shoot missiles up and you can take down a helicopter in one go.
Okay. But it's basically the same.
Yeah, well, so Far Cry 6 introduced... So, yeah, it's a familiar concept. You are tasked with overthrowing the big baddie. Very similar to Far Cry 5 in this instance, in that you have areas within a much larger map that you need to convince to join the fight against the big bad guy from Breaking Bad. And you do that through, a series of fetch quests and shooty bits. The geography is set... in a sort of Cuban styled environment, so it's like being on holiday again. They have slightly overcomplicated this one now in that rather than having a skill tree where you spend experience points, you now get that through unlocking cosmetic items. So whereas previously you could buy a trait that might enable you to automatically repair a vehicle you're in, now you just have to wear the special trousers. Which I don't like because it means that you don't necessarily know how to take a specific route through a skill tree because you don't know where the items are. Some are available in shops, others are available as loot, others are sort of hidden all over the map. It's very difficult to shoot down helicopters this time, Steve. They've got bulletproof glass. And now, it seems, that's because each of the weapons now has different types of bullets, which is a needlessly fiddly
that does
mechanic.
Sound fiddly.
But that said, I am enjoying it. I think I've almost done the first or one of the territories. 2 more to go before, and it's much easier and much more straightforward to have a permanent unlock for your choppers, Steve, which, as you regular listeners will know, I do like. However, in this map, they've got anti-aircraft guns, Steve.
Stop it!
So
take down the helicopters.
They realise what old Big Boy Byron was doing in Far Cry 5, which was calling a chopper and just... So anyway, what that means is that you just run in with the missiles on your back, take out the air things, and then you can fly in. It's good.
One life less.
Good
Tips section. The reason I mentioned the sort of is there any difference thing is one of the dumbest criticisms of Zelda I've seen was not on this show because all of your criticisms were excellent.
Thanks.
But was someone saying it's just $70 DLC because, and essentially what they mean by that is it's the same map. And actually, you know, Zelda has new story, rubbish, new mechanics, great, new missions, new weapons, new monsters, all of that stuff, which strikes me as the same as any series like Far Cry, that you expect a new set of all of those things. The difference is in Far Cry you get, I presume, a new world to explore as well, a new map, right? And you do in Zelda as well, you get the up and the low as well, but it's not quite as an extreme a difference. I find that quite interesting, I think.
Good. Well, there'll be plenty more to play this week, Steve. The Steam Summer Sale starts on Thursday.
You didn't give Far Cry a score.
Oh, it's Far Cry 6, 7 out of 10.
Thank you. Steam Sale
starts on Thursday.
You excited?
I am excited. I've been adding to my wish list.
I ploughed through the Steam trailer in 6 seconds. Guys have done a site that allows you to plough through everything in Next Fest, Steam's Next Fest, and all of the games. So you can look at them in a really, really nice, easily consumable way. There are 19 pages each with, 50 games on there, I think.
Yes, I believe there are 1,300 demos in Next Fest at the moment.
So much good stuff, as well.
There is good stuff, yeah. You know, and one of ours is in the top 50, so in terms of peak concurrence, Steve.
Good. Well done, you.
Thanks.
Can't get better than top 50,
You can't get better than top 50.
Good, all right. 30 seconds left. Any other business?
I think that's it from me. Enjoy the Steam sales. Let us know what you're buying. Let us know what you're playing. And let us know how much money you've spent in order to save.
Yeah, maybe we should give people topics to write in about. That's a good one, Simon. We'll do that every week from now on until we forget, which will be...
Exactly. Next week.
Next week. All right, it's been a good show. I'm looking forward to opening my windows again so everyone outside can hear me. Looking forward to my next call from the spam callers as well. But until next week, Simon, goodbye.
Goodbye.